I did. Yeah, he's in Olympia. All right, if I can get everybody's attention, I'd like to go ahead and call tonight's Monday, February 18th legislative session to order at 5:30 PM. If I could get everybody to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I, the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you, everybody. I'm gonna move us right into roll call. Mr. Schubert, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll start with Chair Bowman,
Present.
Vice Chair Messing,
Present.
Councilmember Beininger,
Here.
Councilmember Ritchie, Councilmember Malay,
Present.
Councilmember Perry, and Councilmember Morton.
Present.
Thank you. Let the record show we have the following staff in attendance. We have City Manager Albert Tripp, City Attorney Daniel Gibbons, Lieutenant Jake Keith, Principal Planner Heather Troutman, and Clerk Treasurer Stanley Schubert. That concludes the roll call.
All right, thank you. I know we got a message from Kevin saying he was still over in Olympia, and then I think Davin's running a little bit late. But Council, what would we like to do about the absence of both members? Move to approve. I have a motion. I have a second. Any questions or comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? All right, that passed unanimously. Albert, any changes to tonight's agenda?
There are no proposed changes.
All right, just going through, I know we got a call for an executive session afterwards. Okay. All right, Council, what would we like to do about tonight's agenda?
Move to approve tonight's agenda.
Motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Not seeing any from council. All those in favor? All right, that passed unanimously. That'll move us on to announcements and presentations. First up, we have a presentation for the Survival Heritage Foundation. So the floor is.
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to do a quick briefing and introduction of the guests here. Move over to that portion in the packet and I can bring it up.
Well, while Albert brings that up, thank you guys for joining us this evening. Oh, absolutely. It's our pleasure.
About technology. Chair and Council, this evening, we are joined by Ray Young, Tom Lutens, and Mike Smith, along with several other colleagues from the SEER School, which has gone through various changes over the years. I understand that wasn't initially how it started out, but all of these gentlemen are here this afternoon with the council to discuss with you the development of a Heritage Foundation, for which one of its main intents is to preserve the heritage and culture associated with Survival School. That's not the only thing they'll speak to as they get into the presentation. They also have a focus on how to preserve and incorporate the heritage and culture of the West Plains community, to include the 2 Native American tribes and also the city of Airway Heights. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Ray and also Tom.
All right, and then just make sure the red button is.
The green button's on.
The green.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Is it working?
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you for allowing us to be here. And we hope to share with you our hearts, the things that have been going on here since 1966, when the Survival School moved here. Some of you probably remember that. I'm not sure how many of you might have gone through there, but at any rate, we've got actually one of our patriarchs with us, Bob Calouse. He's responsible for most of us being here, or our generations and our sub-generations. So just want to honor his presence here. But at any rate, we are going to hopefully give you an opportunity to help us create or recreate a facility that's going to be able to tell the history of not only the Air Force Survival School and how it's worked with the community, but how it goes clear back to pre-contact before Europeans came here, and how everybody needs to learn from everybody else and respect everybody. And you can always do that. And that's pretty much what we did. So on the background, like I said, we got here in 1966, and the Survival School you have academics training, of course, you have laboratory training. Well, the transition between that and going to the big woods, which a lot of people have never taken their feet off concrete before. You can imagine that. I mean, we're doing air crew people, but some people are from New York. Nothing wrong with that, but if you've never been to New York and you've never seen snow, I mean, never been off, it could be bad. So we had to have a transition thing. And that was basically built by Tom Litzinger. I don't know, has anybody heard of him? He's a kind of a famous local artist. He's done amazing work, but he built this exhibit from 1966 to 1971, pretty much all by hand. And there's been over the last, since 66 to 2022, there's been probably 300,000 or more people, everything from little school kids to Boy Scouts to Girl Scouts to 4-H to civic groups, anybody. In fact, whenever somebody like Kathy Marshall Rogers or a senator or whatever would come here, they'd always take them to the exhibits lab, which we're showing you tonight. And so during the last 3 or 4 years, of course, we had the COVID thing going on, and the Survival School kind of lost its way, and they decided that they didn't need that anymore. And they allowed us to preserve the artwork and the facility, not the building, but the artwork and the training aids that were there. And so, well, the first thing we did,
Well, they were just gonna pretty much just demolish the exhibit slab. We've been using it for years, decades to teach, and it was a good example of where you could actually see things. You're not in the desert, but you can actually see a desert shelter. You're not in the Arctic, but you can actually see an Arctic shelter. To give the students and people the idea of what it's supposed to look like. They stopped using it, and they were going to get rid of it. So Tom found out about it and got a little upset, and got a few of us together and got permission to go ahead and take everything out of it and preserve it. So we went in and surgically removed everything, all the dioramas, all the artwork, the entire building. And it's currently in storage in several different places right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Not that good. My instructor voice just says it wasn't strong enough, I take it. Okay. So we want to go ahead and we wanted to preserve this heritage, but we didn't really know how to go about doing that. A few of us got together and like I said, we pulled everything out over the last couple of years and we've got it all in storage at this point in time. But where do we go from here? You know, there's a few of us that want to do something with this, and the momentum's growing within the survival career field from all the people that have been there and done that, so to speak. And that's when we got involved with trying to figure out what we're going to do. And Mike Smith knows a lot of people, and he knew Albert. And so we kind of we wanted to try to go along as far as he said, as far as Tom was saying about, you know, trying to preserve the heritage. But it's not just our heritage in the survival environment, but the survival school has been an integral part of Airway Heights all through the decades also. I mean, many of our instructors lived here. We've all been part of this community in one way or another for the last 50 years. And so we decided, we said, well, maybe we can work with Airway Heights and kind of partnership with that a little bit. And at the same time, we talked about going with, trying to get with the tribe, both the Spokane and the Kalispell tribe also. and again, incorporating their heritage along with this. So we're kind of in a talking session right now, trying to build things up and trying to get ideas and figure out exactly where we want to go and what we want to do, and try to bring everybody together and work as a partners to try to develop something to go ahead and keep this heritage going, along with the heritage, along with the tribes in Airway Heights too.
So basically, who are we anyway? We're a bunch of, all of the guys that you see here, that you don't know probably, are retired survival instructors or SEER specialists. Young ones are SEER specialists. But we let him call himself survival guy too. Anyway, we got to get some young people in here because you know what? I'm 77 years old and I'm not going to last forever, but I want to pass it to the next generation and the next generation. So that's why we're trying to get a collaboration going. And so as we work on this partnership, we want to, like we said, preserve it. And not only that, but we want the next generation to take ownership. And that's why Mike's son, Damien, who runs their outdoor rec program at Fairchild, and my daughter, who's a school teacher in Everett, they're consultants and they're the next generation, at least for us. You know, once hopefully somebody here says, yeah, let's do this, maybe your next generations will want to do this too. So that's a wonderful thing. Those pictures you see on the right there, that just happens to be one of the symbols of the wing boot that was used during World War II. It basically was nothing more than it was called a late arrivals club, which meant that they had to walk out. Kind of a long process, but so what is our mission? Well, basically, I'm not going to read you this slide. We've pretty much been telling you all the time what our mission is. We want to share. We want to keep learning. We want to keep having the ability to get with other people and bring school teachers in here. I mean, there's, I don't know if you've heard, but there's a group up in Valley called Between the Rivers. It's a very, 300 people now. Yeah. 300 people come up there. We've been going up there for 4 or 5 years. It's a primitive skills gathering. I mean, they do everything from hide tanning with brains to making arrows and bows and everything. From dirt, you take a rock, knock it off, and you got a sharp piece and you can whittle something and you can make a fire. So groups like that could come and use this facility, okay? And so we basically want to share what we know. Hopefully, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's probably close to 250 years of experience of just survival in this room right here. And we're just a small group. There's 3 or 4 other guys that couldn't be here. One's with his wife in Hawaii, that's nice. But anyway, okay, so that's basically what we want to do there, is to keep that. Now, it's interesting, this slide on the left-hand side there, you see it says 60 minutes. What we were showing in this is one of the, by the way, these pictures that are inserts are all pieces of what the lab used to look like. We have them saved and they're ready to be rebuilt. But what we were trying to show people here was you can fly from Spokane to the ocean and travel over every environment in the world. And we did. The desert, tropics, on and on. So what have we done so far?
Well, up to date right now, like I said earlier, we saved the displays, the artwork and everything. We've got it all preserved at this point in time. We're in the process right now of applying for nonprofit status with Washington State and try to create a 501c. We've officially named our organization the Survival Heritage Foundation, because that's what we're trying to preserve, the survival heritage. We have 4 on the board of directors, and there's 5 of us here tonight that are on the board. Okay, so we're trying to make this as, I guess you could say, as official as possible as we go along. We're working on drafting a business plan right now. And so we're at the point right now, and it's one of the reasons we're here tonight, starting to reach out to the community for support. Okay. You know, where do we go from here? Well, obviously pie in the sky is to be able to have a building to go ahead and put our exhibits lab back in function again and be able to use it in the community. Okay. Obviously, we're not going to necessarily be able to do that by ourselves. So that's why we're looking for partners to help out and collaborate with us to try to move something like this along and work. And we figured Airway Heights, like I said, being involved in part of the survival school ever since its existence here since 1966, and also the local tribes in the area, which we have worked with at different times in gaining knowledge just of this area alone to pass on to our students. We figured that would probably be a good collaboration going forward from here to try to work things out. So that's kind of what we're here, not to let you guys know what it is we've envisioned, what we would like to do, and hopefully get some sort of a partnership with you all to press on and move on, and ideas also, you know, how to do this and where we go from here. Obviously, we're not all business people, and some of you guys probably are, you know, and could help us in that aspect tremendously. Okay, we're, you know, boots on the ground in the woods kind of people, so we need all the help we can get.
So
Oh, go ahead.
no, I was just going to ask it, at this point, is the goal to establish not just the Heritage Foundation, but kind of a museum, you know, for per se, like of the different models that you guys have and the different structures? Because, I mean, is that kind of the end goal, or?
Yes, yeah. We'd like to go ahead and try to rebuild the lab, okay? And being devoid completely from the US government now, you know, and to be able to build it and utilize it within the community, whether it be for scouting organizations, school organizations, whatever, okay? But not just us, okay? But also envelop into it, like I said, Airway Heights history.
Yeah.
And how we work together, and also the tribe's history, and, you know, and again, how we've all intermingled over the years. And to put a facility together would not just be only survival, but all three areas, but intertwined.
Did anybody know the name John Ross?
I-
He was an anthropology professor at Eastern. He was
Yeah.
one of our mentors. In fact, I got to be his TA a couple of times. It was amazing. He's gone now, of course, but he spent 25 years on the Spokane Reservation. And as far as I know, he was the only guy that I know of, other than a native, that could write, speak, and read Salish Spokane, which is amazing. And he wrote a book. It's about this thick. It's yellow, big yellow book. It's his kind of opus. It's a big, huge book. And he has everything in there about all that. And boy, did we learn from that.
Yeah.
And so we're trying to collaborate with everybody and say, hey, you know, they don't just have a casino, but those elders in there, they can come teach us some good stuff. You know, because where do we learn how to tan hides? Where do we learn how to do all these things? Where do we learn what food not to eat, what to eat? In fact, I
Right.
try to.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so that's a good one. What to eat, and what not to eat.
Yeah, you can get in trouble eating the wrong food, as you know. But I mean, if you go clear back to the 1800s, or even earlier than that, with the fur trade, the guys that were successful in the fur trade, they came in here and they wintered over. They wintered over with a tribe somewhere. And if they were respectful and learned a lot, they might be lucky and get married to a lady there. And well, let's face it, they took care of them pretty good and
Yeah.
probably kept them alive, you know. But
Well,
anyway.
Well, and I think too, to tell the story, not just of Fairchild, the survival school is super important. What you guys do in the SV80 course is instrumental to saving pilots' lives. It's, you know, everything out there. I was a prior boom operator when I first came in, and then I switched over to the dark side and became a crew chief. But if it wasn't for some of the things that I've learned, you know, even with the survival side, the water survival, everything else, I mean, we take that into our lives, you know, and I teach it to my kids, and, you know, just the basics of how to do, what to do, why to do it type of deal. So I think it's important for us to tell the story of, you know, everybody around here. And that's something that the council has tried to do through the Art Commission, through other platforms that we have, and working in conjunction with the Indian tribes and trying to develop whatever we can to tell the story of the local area. So, I mean, as far as, how can we help you? I mean, we can, throw letters of support behind you. We can, obviously this is going to be something that is, kind of longstanding and into the future as well, especially, but if there's a way that we can, help stand behind you and support you, I'm sure, I'll speak for myself, not for the rest of the council, but that's definitely something I think that we could get behind.
Go ahead.
Tom, if you want me, I captured some of the notes that you shared with me earlier, and some of the things that Tom and Ray indicated would be helpful for the group to get started in terms of the city coming alongside and collaborating on. Would be to help understand where the community growth is occurring and likely to occur in the future, because they want to build a facility that is integral to the community. They don't necessarily want to locate it in a location where it's going to be hard for people to get to and people won't be able to utilize. Another was to identify potential locations for property and building. And given that we have a lens through which to see all development occurring within the city, we could share that information with the foundation so they would have insight about where those potential opportunities are emerging. Another request was to support grant funding opportunities for the project as they develop. And we do that all the time with letters of support for different agencies that align with the city's mission and vision. And then the last was, as both Tom and Ray indicated, was to collaborate on the project with the other stakeholders, with both tribes, just to help move it forward.
Would you like to?
I just, excuse me,
Choked on your kiwi lime?
this stuff's killing me. What, I didn't catch your names.
I'm Ray Young, R-A-Y Young.
As long as we're introducing people, this is Ray Young. He's our treasurer. Wade, please stand up. This is Wade Warfield. Pleasure. He is our president
Of the Heritage.
of the Heritage Foundation.
But you don't let him talk, right? I mean, he
Right.
doesn't talk.
He actually
delegated that.
Oh, okay.
He's in charge.
I see. Okay.
And Spencer Alexander, he actually, well, we're all local. Spencer Alexander is our recorder and brain trust.
Huh.
He's been around a long time.
Sounds important.
Mike Smith, you met him earlier. And Mike is our director of operations.
Oh, okay.
He's the kind of guy, Wade and he are, and we already introduced Bob, and I don't want to embarrass him anymore, but like I said, Bob Cluse is the guy that started this whole thing with us, so anyway. But
And-
we also, go ahead.
What was your name?
I'm Tom Luchins.
What, Tom
Luchins,
Luchin?
it's the one on the,
Yes.
yeah, and there's, let me read you
Okay.
the rest of the board here. We
They-
have,
The-
we have, Bill Denstead, who, is recovering from a knee operation right now, otherwise he would be here. And he was a retired instructor, and he was the fire chief out by Cheney, I think assistant fire chief for a long time. So he's gonna be our facilities manager and safety guy. Kind of a good thing to have. John Schmidt is a young fellow. How old is he? Just 40? Well, we gotta get some young guys in there. That's why our president's young. Because we want him to be here a long time. And John Schmidt is just retired, and he's a consultant as well. We're all survival instructors. Damian Smith, Mike's son, is I already told you about Damian being in charge of the outdoor rec. He's a business guy and as a consultant as well. Next generation. My daughter, Helen Cooley, she's a advisor and a consultant. She's a brilliant lady. Leroy Miller, of course, I'm prejudiced. My daughter's brilliant, of course. But Leroy Miller is the one that is probably flying back from Hawaii within the next 24 hours. And he's like our age. He's been around a long time. I've worked with him. We've actually got him as our advisor and chaplain. A retired Baptist preacher.
Oh, that sounds like, I mean, you guys already got a huge kind of support network and everything else. I mean, I think into the future, let us know where we can help you. I I'm sure that, you know, the council even past our time from being up here will help support, you know, something that tells the history of the local area and the history of Fairchild and the survival school out there. And, you know, I mean, it's great to me. Like I love going into the Bud Day Center. I love, you know, just kind of seeing out there and just what's been going on throughout the years. So it's incredible.
Some of these pictures having been in the lab already,
I have,
hopefully we get to recreate exactly what you saw then.
yeah.
That's our goal.
No, that'd be incredible. And I think it's important. It really is. People that don't know about survival, especially kind of my son's generation that likes to stay at home and do nothing. And, you know, when I have to force him into the outdoors. But yeah, it's great. And I know that we have a lot of stuff going on within the city of, you know, even with our police force, you know, trying to do a lot of outreach to the youth and youth programs. So I think if we can, you know, get together, help support you guys, do whatever we can. I'm sure the body would love to throw letters of support, you know, help you guys with grant opportunities and wherever we can.
Tom, you'll have to forgive me. You concealed your name on the cover of this presentation, so thank you for that.
Our president is the one that put the guy on the.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this real quickly. If you were to resurrect this whole lab, what kind of a footprint are you talking about?
We measured it when we took it apart.
Yeah,
I have all the pieces, parts.
just roughly.
We need basically 50 feet by 100 feet or 75 by 75-foot building for the display. If we had a 75 by 75-foot building that was 12 foot high, that would be perfect. Needs to be climate controlled because it's artwork and it's three-dimensional displays, you know. That's the size of building.
That's bare minimum.
Yeah, that would be just,
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
and it would be nice to have bathrooms. You know, and some, you know, HVAC type stuff and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what we can, you know, help support and what can be created throughout the years for sure.
I don't imagine this is gonna be anything that's gonna happen next week.
No,
But Larry does have a lot of room in his house, so he's got a lot of room. That's, I was just trying to get the dimensions, you know what I mean?
I can tell you what, I can tell you where a lot of it's stored. It's in my basement. And my
Oh,
wife is
okay.
gonna be very glad when this project is moving down. the
yeah,
road.
there's a couple big pieces in there. I know that.
You know, the igloo, remember the igloo?
Yeah.
I took that apart piece by piece and I labeled all the parts and pieces so we can put it back together.
Awesome. Well,
That's where we stand.
yeah, all right. Well, I think that, you know, council, you know, what do you guys think? Would you guys like to support it? And
Write him a check, Larry.
I got $10 in my account.
Anything else? I wanted to ask you guys, we got the whole board here almost.
Would you take a personal check from this guy?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He's the rich one. But no, thank you guys for coming out and yeah, it's, the story is going to be incredible to tell. So, go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chair, I have a question. Who would be the point of contact with the city of Airway?
That guy right there. It would be Mr. Tripp.
Consider wanting partnership. So if we go 75 by 75, what do you need for your piece of Airway Heights to be represented next to us?
Yeah.
And then what would the tribal community want to have next to us? So we're looking at a footprint you asked earlier. So if we went 75 by 75, I think Airway Heights might want to have something with their history museum, and Albert and I have talked about this. I'm sure, because I've worked with all the tribes a lot, they're going to want to have their piece. Wouldn't it be beautiful to have a piece here, the circles, like the Olympic circles? Okay, and so we've got city, survival, tribal, transitional zone. So footprint is still in the air on how much you need too.
Yeah, I think it would be important too to, you know, partner with the active duty side. I know, especially in the Vault, you know, they have some incredible pictures and a lot of really cool stuff to that just tells the story of the C-29s and, you know, everything else from a long time ago that kind of came through. So,
You know, Jim McGovern,
yeah.
well, we get along, we're like brothers. So we're gonna work with Jim too.
Absolutely. That's incredible, guys. So yeah, let us know where we can support you, how we can support you. And I'm sure that, you know, whichever, where you're at on your journey, you know, we can come in beside you guys and help support. So
You're our second step. The first step was getting organized and the second step was this is our first presentation. Thank you for your patience.
you guys did a great job. All right. So moving on to or the next item is going to be the consent agenda. Item A is going to be the approval of Southside Sewer Project Change Order number 3. Item B is the purchase approval registry for
Mr.
Payne
Chair,
Hamblin.
do you want to do the council reports, staff reports?
Oh, yeah. Any reports from council? None. I think the only thing that I have is we ended up having a meeting with, I mean, you were the spearhead of it with John from No Lie going over there. And then we did, think, what was it? Xanth got an award for riding 1,000,000 miles on her bicycle, and there were a couple other things. The city actually got, I believe, Xanth actually has the award, but for the Smart City Award, we did get awarded, I believe it is the bronze level. It's either the bronze or the gold on that, which is important for the city to have as well, but that's all I have. Anything else? All right, staff reports?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We'll start with City Manager Tripp. Do you have any report for council?
I have 2 quick items I want to report on. I just wanted to close the loop in reference to the conversation we're having last week about nuisance properties. During the last week's meeting, Councilmember Messing asked about the publication date. I included a copy of those in my weekly report. Related to that too, I noted as well, we're changing the process for how we go about codifying ordinances that are adopted by the council. As I suggested in my weekly report, normally that would be integrated into the workflow throughout the course of the week. But following this, we're actually reprioritizing that so that it actually occurs 5 days, which it roughly works out to be 5 days. But essentially, by the following Monday after action and adoption, it'd be published and official at that particular point. And then lastly, Department of Revenue, most of you might be old enough to remember a time frame wherein you could walk into a city and get a business license. That's the way Airway Heights used to be as well. But about 4 or 5 years ago, the state changed it where it's uniform across the state, where you could go in online. The theory was to make it simpler and easier for everyone. Buy a state license, get your local license all in one click from Hawaii or wherever. So Airway Heights is a part of that. The question that we have for Department of Revenue, though, is how can someone, a potential business who's buying a state license, avoid putting in the license where they're actually doing their work as a business? Because that should not happen. But something in the way that the online system is set up, which is administered by Department of Revenue, is actually allowing that. So we're working with them to find out how. And then the last piece that we're working on relative to that topic is with DOR to see if they can assist with audits, helping us audit business license throughout the city. And if not, if there's not a resource there, then we'll continue looking for a different one. That's the conclusion of my report, unless you have any questions.
No, I know with the DOR, as soon as you actually apply for whatever type of business you are through the Secretary of State, you know, that's not even a business type. That's just creating an entity. And then you have to go into the Department of Revenue and create, you know, get your actual business license. But every single municipality is a drop-down box that you can click and go into. The reason why people don't do is because every municipality charges money. So if I'm doing business here in Spokane Valley, Liberty Lake, instead of my license being $25, it could be hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So I think that that's a lot of what people are trying to get away with. And I would absolutely support, you know, being able to kind of encapsulate who's doing business here and why.
That may be the shortcoming in the system in the sense that it relies upon the honesty and integrity of the person putting in the license to acknowledge where they're doing the business. If that's not there, then you could end up with results like we talked about the other night.
Here, can I weigh in on this just
Absolutely.
briefly? Where I have some heartburn with this is that, you know, if you're driving around in your city and you're looking at your city, your backyard, so to speak, and you see a gate, maybe a rolling gate or something, where there wasn't a rolling gate, you know, the question would be, why is that there and who put that up? For what purpose? Before all these buildings get erected and there's a full-blown operation going on for some 3 years. I don't understand how that can happen. I really don't.
People are just assuming that they got the proper licensors and everything else to actually do business
But I mean,
and
we're not
establish building.
collecting any revenue as a city, even though in our backyard they're operating, right?
Yeah.
We're losing all that income and, I mean, others have to abide by the rules, the laws. What makes these guys special, right? And I feel like shame on us for not catching that. Like, wait a minute, time out. You don't get to put that building there. What are you doing?
Well,
But
and-
that didn't happen.
Well, and that goes to say too, when B and O taxes, the business and occupation taxes are actually collected, the disbursement of those funds, you know, at that point, somebody could be doing business here, paying, you know, taxes, paying the B and O taxes and any fees and everything else. And then that money's getting dispersed to another municipality. Because on record, that's all that there is. If they only have a business license in Spokane, they do their business, their B and O taxes, those sales taxes will go back to that community. So that's where there's a huge, you know, I think there's a lot of room for improvement there within the state.
Think?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I've been, you know, kind of on the mountaintop screaming down. It's like, okay, well, how is this stopping somebody to come in and say, oh, I'm a Spokane business, and then they go do business in Liberty Lake? You know, or they go do business in Airway Heights, they go do business somewhere else. Like technically, any sort of business they do here, we should be getting those revenues from. And I can't imagine how much money we're losing out.
I mean, you're talking like that one business that Clyde brought up. They're trucking cars to Guatemala. Are you kidding me right now? Is that a chop shop? Whose cars? Where do they obtain those cars? How are they paying their employees? You know what I mean? Is it all under the table? I have no idea.
I get it. Yeah, so I assume you're gonna keep digging in and try to figure out whatever we can and where we can. I mean, it's not a laughing matter by any means.
No.
We are, and I think part of the most immediate things that we want to dig into, Craig alluded to that he leaves at the end of March. And so we're looking for a resource to replace Craig. Next Monday, you'll have a draft job description on the agenda for consideration. And by that time, we hope to have it finalized where the council can actually take action on it. And that way we could start the advertising process and hopefully get someone in to be cross-trained before Craig actually leaves.
Yeah, that's a step.
You gotta do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's all these unknowns of stuff that can come up at random times. But yeah, this is yet another thing that, you know, it hurts our citizens. It hurts the constituents of Airway Heights because we're asking them for more and more money, but we're not asking the people that are required to provide those sales tax and everything else for the city, you know, to pay it. And it's not fair to the residents if we have a business that's not operating legitly in Airway Heights. So, but, all right. If there's no other,
You're
Huh?
not done yet.
oh, I
Thank
thought
you.
we were done with Dan.
Mr. Gibbons, any report for council?
Just briefly, a few weeks ago, we discussed a letter from the city council to Mr. Tripp. I have a copy of that for anyone that would like to sign. I know Mr. Ritchie's not here today. I can stop by Mr. Malay's shop on the way home, but if folks would like to sign that, it is sitting right here.
Thank you. Lieutenant Keith, any report for council?
I have no report tonight, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Trotman, any report for council?
Oh, just so we concluded the planning commission's deliberations on the middle housing package, and that will be coming forward to council for briefing. And we'll break that over several briefing sessions due to the breadth and depth of the content. We look forward to that conversation. That concludes the presentation from staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Troutman, and no report for me. That concludes the staff reports.
All right, thank you. The consent agenda, item A, is going to be the approval of the Southside Sewer Project Change Order Number 3. The the purchase approval registry, Payne Hamlin in the amount of $41,605. Approval of the meeting minutes from February 3rd, 2025, and item D, which is approval of the minutes from February 10th, 2025. Council, what we'd like to do about tonight's consent agenda? Have a motion, do you have a second? A second. Any questions or comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? All those abstained? And the motion passes with 5, 1 abstention. And that'll move us into action items. Item E, which is the furnace replacement for City Hall and Municipal Court. And the floor is Schubert.
I'll take that one. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I briefed council last week during the study session that during the window of 2023 to 2024, we had the furnace maintenance done, and the maintenance technician suggested that we need to replace one of our furnaces in the City Hall. I collected 3 different quotes that are on the briefing sheet. I verified with Legacy Heating and Cooling that the $5,900 are still valid, and which is the case. So staff is asking council to approve the replacement of the 1 furnace for City Hall.
All right, Council, what would we like to do about the furnace replacement?
Move to approve.
Have a motion, do I have a second? A second. Any questions or comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? Any abstentions? Any noes? That passes 5 to 1. All right, and that one was an abstention. So item F is going to be the Garfield US 2 roundabout TIB and federal funding agreement. And Ms. Troutman, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chair and council members. This was briefed last week. We were awarded 2 different funding sources for the Garfield and US 2 roundabout. One of them is Transportation Improvement Board, and the other is a demo federal appropriation from the the federal legislature for our project. We are requesting that the council accept both grant sources for this project and include authorization for Mr. Tripp to sign the necessary documents and agreements with the state of Washington. That includes $2,018,551, or a maximum of 51.9% of the construction cost for the TIB award, and $1,870,488 from the demo federal appropriation project. The total estimated construction cost is $3,889,039 for this project, the timing of which would be for construction in 2026, and we would proceed with right-of-way and final design this year in 2025. And so we're seeking acceptance of both of these funding sources for the project.
All right, thank you. Council, what would you like to do about item F?
Move to approve the Garfield US 2 roundabout TIB and federal funding agreement.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? All those opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes 5 to 1. That'll move us into the 6th Avenue Extension Project, change order number 3. Ms. Troutman, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. This was also briefed last week. This is actually 3 change orders for the 6th Avenue construction from Russell Street to Craig Street. This was for phase 1. There were 3 minor changes to the project. The first was a electronic message board that we utilized during the paving portion to give early notification to drivers that the roadway would be closed for portions of the days due to paving. The second was making sure that we had secure inlets for our dry well areas and swales by having curbing added to that area. And we also put temporary striping in since our paving concluded in November of this year, and permanent striping wasn't possible due to temperature conditions. And so we are asking for council to authorize $7,130 in total for the project. This would be available through funding through our various grant sources. Just as a reminder, our engineer's estimate was $4,636,897, but our bid came in at $3,794,920.10. So we have a significant amount of room still from our engineer's estimate to our bid contract to accommodate these minor changes for the project. So we're seeking authorization for these change orders.
All right, council, what would you like to do about the change orders for the Sixth Avenue Extension Project?
Move to approve.
A motion, do I have a second? A second, any questions or comments? Not seeing any, all those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. That'll move us on to item H, which is the Craig Road Shared Use Path Change Order. Mr. Troutman, the floor is yours.
Yeah, this is a shared use path project with swale area. It's nearing completion of construction. We have a few checklist items for the contractor, which will likely be accomplished as soon as the snow melts off and they can work in the ground. This is just a reminder that this was funded through a combination of $950,000 from Washington State Department of Transportation Bike and Pedestrian Funds, with remainder project costs identified for approximately $240,000 through our Transportation Benefit District. We do have an interlocal agreement with the Spokane Tribe of Indians that would reimburse the city for their portion of the costs. So those costs above and beyond the $950,000 grant money to a maximum of $260,000. So there are 9 items that are on the list for change orders. So the first was ecology blocks. There were some ecology blocks for a business inadvertently removed and they were returned. We, in addition, ended up with significantly more roadway material removal than estimated in the bid, and the contract had a price in it. So it was already pre-negotiated as to what the city through the grant would pay for additional material that had to be removed in order to level out the elevation for the shared use path. We also had 3 items that were no cost change orders, which included the Spokane Tribe approach, finishing a shoulder, and an additional 2 days of work that were caused as a result of the utility companies needing to remove the poles. So the contractor needed to be offsite for 2 days while that occurred. There were also a minor cost for detectable warning service. So this is the distance from the rumble strip to the rectangular rapid flash. The concrete base for that rectangular rapid flash device needed to be flushed to the pavement. So there was some minor grinding there to take care of that. We also needed to go in and ensure there was a full 2 foot of shoulder on the roadside in one area of the project. We had gone down to 1 because of a conflict with a drainage feature in that area. We are also working through 3 additional ones, which have to do with replacing the signage. So the contractor did install stop signs and a non-motor vehicle sign at the northernmost driveway for the Spokane Trust land. Truck driver ran into it. He did report it. We do have the signs. Actually, the tribe has the signs on their property, but they're beyond reusability. And so the contractor would be going back and replacing those. And finally, bollards for the 3 driveways that are along the path. There would be bollards placed on either side. And this is to prevent motorized use of the path. They are removable. So they're a metal pole that's usually pretty significant in diameter, at least 12 inches or greater. They can be removed, they're locking, so somebody can would be able to walk off with them, but maintenance for snow or sweeping, we'd be able to pull them off and put them back on to the path. So those items in gray, we're working through final numbers with Washington State Department of Transportation because they review the proposal and the costs by the contractor and assist us with ensuring that they're fair and within contract for those costs. So we've highlighted, we anticipate a total number of change orders for the complete project to be $113,937.85. Just as a reminder, the engineer's estimate on this project was $686,679. And prior to these change orders, our contractor bid was $452,279. We're recommending authorization up to that amount for change orders for this project and project closeout.
All right, thank you. Council, would you like to do about on H?
Approve the Craig shared use path change order.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. All right, I have a second. Any questions or comments?
I have just a quick question. Heather, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Have you received any feedback with respect to that median that's on Sixth Avenue? I've noticed, just my own personal observation, I've seen people who live, they live there, but if they're heading eastbound on Sixth Avenue, they can't just turn into their driveway anymore. They've got to figure out a way to get on the other side of that. I watched what was it? An Amazon truck, one of the big vans, stop going, westbound on Sixth Avenue. And I saw him running to deliver the packages because he realized that the traffic was backing up behind him because they're stuck, So are you getting negative feedback at all from citizens in the community going, why did you guys put that there? Or how's this supposed to work? Are you getting that?
We got initial comments as the median was going in with regards to the median location. So coming out of a driveway, there's a break at every street. So the maximum length of the median is about 5 homes. So at some point, somebody would be backing into the roadway heading west, and they're able to turn at the median and go to the east. I'm not sure why a UPS driver wouldn't be able to pull into a driveway in order to deliver a package, but the design does anticipate that vehicles such as at bus stops along Sixth Avenue would pause for picking up and dropping off passengers. The delay is not significant as part of those pauses. There also is garbage pickup and other vehicles that are servicing that corridor that were considered as part of the design.
Yeah, if you go on Facebook, there's a lot of people complaining about it. And I see it in our community forum all the time, showing pictures of Amazon trucks, UPS, and everybody else, and then a host of other people. So I don't know what we have to do, either put no parking signs there or, have a police presence there or something else for, a short period of time or something just to educate, those drivers or to reach out to those companies and let them know, hey, you cannot be stopping in that area.
The
'Cause they are-
finished, oh, pardon me, go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Oh, yeah, the finished project will have no parking signs on both sides, just at this phase. With the work completing in November, the signs hadn't been installed, so certainly we can work with those that could be entering the property in order to drop off and deliver, to make them aware of that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to pull down the road, around the corner, get out, walk down the street a little bit, utilize the sidewalk and deliver.
Yeah, they can also pull into driveways. I'm not sure why in this particular instance, but we can follow up with UPS or others, and I'll take a look at the Facebook posts and see if we can identify who might be unnecessarily delaying traffic on the road.
Okay, yeah, and if we could throw a post up there just saying, hey, if you guys see somebody doing this, just, let us know who, and we could reach out to the company owners or whatnot and just, educate.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you. All right, with that, what would we like to do about item H? Motion second. Yeah, you had a question. Any further questions or comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? All right, that passes unanimously. That moves us on to ordinance first reading of C-1069, amending salaries and positions for 2025. Mr. Schubert, if you would like to read that to the record.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The agendas identifies this as the first reading, but this is the second reading of this ordinance. I just want to make that clear.
Okay.
In the briefing sheet, it shows the second reading as well. So this is the second reading of ordinance number C-1069, an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Airway Heights, Washington, amending ordinance C-1037, setting the position salaries and compensation for appointed officers and employees of the City of Airway Heights for 2025 and providing for the effective date thereof. This was briefed with council at the 127 study session. And just to reiterate, the changes on this ordinance are we adding the public works street lead. The position was promoted last year, was not identified on the ordinance. Second item is the adjusting position title from grant administrator to grants and community initiative director. Adjusting the position title from residential plan reviewer to plans examiner, adjusting the position title from human resources specialist to human resources manager, and updating the salary range. Fifth item is correcting the clothing allowance language under section 2 of the ordinance to reflect the employees receiving this clothing allowance and adjusting the amounts from $1,200 to $1,476 and from $1,500 to $1,845 respectively. And then lastly, we identified increase the administrative assistant at the police department from 1 FTE to 2 FTE for a 2-month period to cross-train a new administrative assistant later this year.
All right, thank you. Council, what would you like to do about ordinance C-1069, amending salaries and positions for 2025?
Move to approve.
Motion, do I have a second? All right, any questions or comments? Not seeing any. All those in favor? All right, that passed unanimously. That'll move us on to the first reading of ordinance C-1070, establishing the Affordable Housing Fund. Mr. Schubert, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is ordinance number C-1070, first reading. An ordinance of the City of Airway Heights, Washington, renaming Chapter 3.33 of the Municipal Code Affordable Housing Sales Tax Fund, creating the Affordable Housing Sales Tax Fund, setting forth the source of monies received, setting forth the use of monies expended, and other matters probably related thereto. This ordinance was briefed last week during the study session. The City Council approved with ordinance C-939 in 2020 the collection of state shared sales tax for the use of affordable or supportive housing. As we started collecting these funds in 2020, but they are currently commingled with the current expense fund. We are seeking to exclude those funds in their special fund that is established through this ordinance so that we can clearly identify what was collected for this special purpose. So this is the first reading. We will bring that back in 2 weeks for second reading.
All right, we'll move it forward. That brings us to resolutions. Item K is resolution 2025-003, fire engine donation. Consideration for donating the fire engine to Adams County Fire District number 7. Mr. Tripp?
Oh, I thought Mr. Gibbons was going to do this one, but suffice to say, we are asking council to table this evening.
Oh, okay.
So no actions requested.
All right. Well, we will table it then. I don't see any anybody in the audience or anything online for citizen comments, workshops, that'll bring us into an executive session. Mr. Gibbons?
The purpose of the executive session is discussion with legal counsel about current or potential litigation and discussion with legal counsel about legal risks of current or proposed action. I would estimate that that will be 30 minutes or so, and I believe we can adjourn afterward.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump into the executive session for 30 minutes, but we will go ahead and adjourn straight from there. So everybody is good to go. Sir? Yeah. Can't take no potty breaks. Well, why didn't you say that like an hour ago? Yeah.